First of all, welcome. Welcome to the monthly free webinar. I do these every month, the third Wednesday of each month, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern US and Canada time. And you can figure out when they are, but that's the time that I always do. It's a 1-hour webinar. If you're a hypnotist, you get 1 CEU for attending these. And everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a hypnotist. If the topic interests you, I'm sure you'll get something from it. And I do plan to do a little process with everyone tonight because this topic is something everyone can use, no matter who you are. Motivation is a necessity of life, isn't it? If you have any goals at all or want to accomplish anything in your life, motivation is an important one. So that's what we're doing tonight. Sometimes we do things that are a little bit more in the clinical or medical side, but that's what we're doing tonight. So I'm so happy to see you. If people come later, we'll just catch them up somehow. But let's start with, by the way, I'm Patti Scott. You already know that. Up Hypnosis Institute is my company. Uphypnosis.com is my website, and you can always find these the next video that's going to be for next month and so on, usually within a week after this when I post what the next one's going to be. And so let's start with just quickly who you are. And I'm located in Palm Harbor, Florida. I do a lot of training online. I do medical hypnotherapy and clinical hypnosis and advanced hypnotherapy training and certifications online. And once in a while, if we have local people, I'll do them locally, along with the online people, parts of it. And I also am an NLP Master Practitioner, and I do some nice little 2-day NLP trainings as well. And those are usually online and or local, same way. So Ray, you want to just introduce yourself and where you're from and just what you're here for?
Ray Montes. I'm from, I live in San Diego County. I actually live in Bonita, but I tell people San Diego because everybody knows what is or where is San Diego. And my purpose for being here is to become familiar with medical hypnosis. I'm currently taking the training certification with Patti, which I am absolutely loving, learning a lot. And I plan to be a permanent fixture every Wednesday.
Nice. So well, I'm glad you're here.
That is me.
Yeah. And again, motivation, you can apply it to anything, right? And
I live in Palm Harbor, Florida, and I am not a hypnotist. I join these sessions occasionally when I see one that I'm interested in.
Very good. Well, that's what we're here for. So I'm glad you found this something that's going to be useful for you. Welcome. Jose.
Well, I am from the San Juan, Puerto Rico area. I studied hypnotherapy right after the pandemic, and I'm here to keep up with the skills and also motivation is a very important topic. Right now I am dealing with a difficult situation, and I hope that practicing these skills will help me in the future.
Very good. I'm so happy to see you again. Thank you for coming. And I don't know if Enda, if that is your name, if I'm pronouncing it right, I hope. If you would like to introduce yourself and where you're coming from, we would love to hear from you. But if you don't want to, I can understand that. I always say hypnosis, NLP, these techniques are about more choices for you to be able to make the choice that's right for you. And that's what we're doing here. So a quick chapter meeting. Now, let's get to why we're here. Let's get motivated, huh? Motivated. Think about what you want to be motivated about. I'm sure you're all here because there's something you would like to have more motivation for. And if you think about, I always like to look up the meanings of words, what kind of the history of the word is. And just briefly, it comes from a Latin word, motivus, M-O-T-I-V-U-S. And the basic concept that it means is a moving cause. a moving cause. Now, Tad James, who created Timeline Therapy, who trademarked that name, I did a lot of training with him in the old days, and he used to say, what we do as practitioners of hypnosis, NLP, these kinds of techniques, is we take people from cause, from effect to cause. Backwards. We take them from being the effect of things that have happened to them or things people have done to them, and we move them to the position of cause, which is the power position. So being at cause for your life, it doesn't mean you are the cause or the blame for things that have happened to you. But what it means is you have the ability and you have the power to decide right now how you choose to think about it and what you choose to do with the information about that thing that happened. So in other words, if you're still here after some trauma, after some event that wasn't pleasant to go through, once that event is finished and you've survived it, you have the ability, when you're at cause, to decide to think about it differently, to have a healthier response to it, to have a healthier thought about it, thinking process about it. And that's where we have our power. So it's about being at cause. So I liked it when I saw that motivation actually, the original meaning meant a moving cause. So the cause, of course, is we want to be motivated about something that we want to accomplish. In other words, a goal, an intention, something that we want, something that we want. So in the old days, there was some old book I read a long time ago that talked about, and it was from the world of psychology, and it was talked about, that everyone is motivated either toward motivation or away from motivation, it was called. In other words, certain amount of people, they say, when they studied motivation, certain people are motivated more by moving towards something they want, while other people are motivated even more strongly by things they want to get away from or avoid. Now, avoiding something, getting away from something, motivation, we kind of have a natural tendency for that. If there's somebody that's very negative in our social circle and someone who's not pleasant to be around, we might be motivated to avoid that person. And that's probably a healthy instinct, right? If it's possible to do that. Away from motivation would be, as a child, you touch a hot stove and you realize, wait a minute, that didn't feel good. I don't think I want to do that anymore. So you're motivated to avoid fire or hot things, right? That's very simplistic, obviously. Toward motivation is about thinking of something we actually want, like a goal, something that has some benefit for us. And it could be that we want to be motivated to exercise 3 days a week for an hour and a half, something like that. So our logical conscious part of our mind comes up with a goal of something we want, or we want to write a book, or we want to expand our social network. We want to start a new business, whatever it is that you want to do. And the way that we get motivated, the best way to get motivated is to figure out what are the benefits. What are the, and benefits, by the way, they can be material benefits. For some goals, people have, I want to own a house, or I want my income to increase so that I can buy a new car. So it's more material. It's more of a material type of benefit or motivation that they have. And the other type of motivation can be a little bit more abstract, coming from inside of us. So in other words, it's like, I want to finish this book so that I can feel proud that I'm a published author. I want to feel good about myself, kind of a thing. I want to accomplish this award. I want to get this award so that my peers will respect me, will acknowledge my accomplishments, those kinds of things. So there's inner more emotionally connected, and actually the emotions, of course, are connected to all of the goals we have, because it's all about how do we imagine we're going to feel when we accomplish that, or when we get that thing. If it's a material thing, it's like, when I get that car, I know I'm going to feel great driving around the neighborhood and everybody's going to be looking at me, that kind of thing. So it can, there's always some internal gratification or benefits that people have, even if that's not the obvious thing that is the focus of the goal. So the toward goals, when we work in the field of hypnosis and NLP, and hopefully I think a lot of the other therapies now are coming around to more this style. It's actually, there's a field out there called motivational therapy. And it's hypnosis is considered a motivational therapy. And the reason is because it focuses on the positive, moving right now towards something, moving in a direction of something that's designed and intended to cause you to be happier, healthier, all of more successful, all of those kind of things. So the rewards, the awards, the recognition, those kind of things from the outside still affect, they can affect how we respond and our level of motivation. And the level of passion we have about what we imagine that is going to feel like when we accomplish whatever the goal is what will keep us moving toward it in a more direct way rather than procrastinating and giving up. So if it's something that demands weekly things like working out 3 times a week, let's go with that one. Let's say that's the goal. And the person wasn't previously doing that maybe, or maybe they've done it sporadically and now they really want to get, you know, dedicated to doing it. How do you get motivated if someone's had a whole history of hit and miss, and you know, they do it for a while and they stop, and maybe their whole life they've been doing that? How do you get someone motivated to do that? Well, one thing is to make sure you know what the goal is. What is, in other words, what is the end result of working out 3 times a week? It's not just to have something to do, you know, to get up early in the morning and go to the gym and move, and then that's the end of it. It's something, there's something behind that. There's some ultimate goal. So if you have a goal of working out, there's going to be a physical advantage of physical change in the body that the person has in mind that they're wanting to accomplish by making that a goal. So part of making motivation, of improving motivation, is being clearer about what you want. Because motivation, again, it's going to be, it's driven from the inside. It's driven by that passion for the outcome you're looking for the benefits, for the rewards that you're looking for through whatever it is you want to be motivated about. Yeah, Jose.
Yeah, and when you were talking before, I was thinking about how there is people who are very driven and high achievers, constantly striving toward new goals. And those that seem to have anhedonia, or basically they don't enjoy things that are supposed to be enjoyed when you have succeeded something. So there's a whole range. That's one observation, and the other one is that usually there's an incentive following an action. So when the incentive gets too far from the action, one does not know if one is moving toward the goal, and could be even lost or
Yeah.
pissed, or
Right.
demotivating.
Right. That's one of the things that definitely we want to talk about is what is the goal something that is motivating enough, or is it something that's going to be so far out there and it's such a big goal that it's going to take a long time to get there? Then how do you stay motivated incrementally moving through the steps to get to that end result, kind of a thing? Yeah. So motivation on a long-term goal can be more challenging, right? Ray, did you have something you wanted to jump in there with?
No, you already mentioned it, but it's, you know, when you're saying how do you get motivated, it has to be a sort of a inside job, heartfelt. I'm ready to do this, I have to do this, and then develop your commitment and your discipline to follow through, and know how to measure your commitment and discipline to make sure you're on track.
Absolutely. And
The
that's
feedback.
one of the websites that I found that was talking about the science of motivation and all that kind of stuff, motivation psychology and those kind of things. It actually described, it's interesting that you said that. It describes it as an internal state. Motivation is an internal state that propels a person toward a behavior or, you know, some goal or some activity. So it's an action, isn't it? Motivation is active. Yeah. Did you, Jose, do you have something else?
The word feedback comes to mind. It's good to have feedback that one is on the right track.
That's right.
That can be motivating for rational, for people who use a lot of reason.
And
That's right. Yeah.
one thing I'd like to mention too, and I used to this is something I found out the hard way. Motivation is not conscious willpower, because that just creates conflict. Motivation, like say, it's an inside job. It has to be something internal that you really want to do.
Right. So let me ask, because I only have two of you that I can see, but do you both have some specific thing right now that's kind of prominent in your life that you would like to have more motivation for?
Mm-hmm.
That you feel like you want to be more motivated about? Yeah, something kind of specific. I don't need to know what it is, by the way, because this is inside you again. So so think about that thing that you wish you were more motivated about. Just if you would close your eyes, sometimes it's easier to get inside of yourself and to think about it and notice how it comes to you. How do you think about it? And I'm just going to throw some things out there, and you inside of yourself notice these things. Notice if there are images or pictures. Notice if there's like a movie about it. Notice if you're getting positive images, thoughts, ideas, words, sounds, whatever's coming to you. Notice if they're positive and in line with what you actually want to accomplish. Or when you think about that thing that you want to be more motivated about, notice if there's some negatives that sneak in there. So just notice how it comes to you as you just close your eyes and think about it. And get a sense of that thing that you want. And just inside of yourself, ask yourself, why do I want this? Why is it important for me to do or to accomplish this or to have this, whatever it is? What's important about this thing that I'd like to have more motivation toward? Because if you have a desire for more motivation, there's some reason why this is important to you. And just give yourself permission to just hold that, just to accept it, just to notice it. And it may be something you already knew, and that's okay too. Or you may get some new information as we go along here. And now think about, where in your body do you feel that lack of motivation? Notice if it seems to be centered in any certain part of your body. As you think about wanting to be more motivated, in other words, you aren't as motivated as you'd like to be about this thing. Notice where it seems to emanate from in your body. And notice if it has a feeling to it or a sense to it. Just notice how you experience it as you think about that want for more motivation, that longing, that desire. And just notice that. And now I'm going to ask you to really let that permeate all of you. That feeling of a lack of motivation, what it feels like to know that you don't have as much as you would like. And I'm going to ask you to form one word that can represent how that feels. Just one word. It can be a very simple word. Usually the first one that comes to your mind is the best one. And please nod for me, each of you, if you have a word. Very good. Okay, now open your eyes and come back out here for a moment. You all have a word, okay, that represents where you are now with this less motivation than you want about this important thing that you have, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about compelling reasons. You know, having compelling reasons. We talked about having a clear idea of what you want first, because like you said, it comes from the inside, which means it's your creative mind, it's your imagination and your unconscious mind that kind of supplies that drive, that adds to the logical part of the mind that comes up with goals or behaviors that we want to either create a new habit maybe, or maybe change a behavior slightly, or develop a new behavior, those kind of things. So the conscious mind sets the goal, and the conscious mind can supply the reasons, the benefits, the purpose for wanting that thing, that goal. And again, the desire to gain something in your life. When we have a goal, it means we think it will enhance our life in some way. And the feeling of lack of motivation or the procrastination, or if you might even say we're away from motivation from the thing we want. We've been going the wrong way in some ways, or at least not moving toward it as powerfully as we would like to. And that is, you know, leading to perhaps some self-descriptions or some self-identity things, some ideas or self-talk about, you know, why am I not able to do this? Why can't I get myself motivated to do this thing? That kind of stuff. So the compelling reasons are important. Knowing what your motivators are, knowing why you want it, why it's important to you, and making sure that your goal is appropriate for you. That it is appropriate, that it's a goal that truly will enhance your life and make a difference in your life or your health or whatever it's about. And then again, if it is a longer term or a big goal, one of the big ones, you know, that's going to take some time and effort and energy and all that, you want to be able to chunk down, in this case, to right now, what can I do? And right now, tomorrow and the next day and this week and next week, and break it down to how can I get motivated right now to do something? And sometimes the only thing you could really do, or the best thing you can do, is to prepare yourself by internally experiencing what it will be like when you accomplish the goal. And that's called creative visualization. It's called future pacing. It's called future projection in hypnosis. It's an unconscious imagination process to make the goal real as if right now. So let's do that for a moment and close your eyes and take yourself to a place wherever your mind knows is appropriate out in the future, when you can imagine that you have now achieved the place where you are passionately excited and motivated about that goal. And it doesn't have to be at the point where the goal is reached. And some goals, like I said, if it's just working out 3 times a week, you know, that might not be when it's reached, but when you're at the point where you have that motivation, take yourself out to a point in the future where you are compelled to do the actions to achieve that goal. And make it a point where you have seen enough benefit and enough rewards that you can get into your own mind and your own body, looking through your own eyes, inside of yourself there. Let yourself be in a place out in the future right now. Put yourself there right now. And let yourself be surrounded by all that would be there, all that is there now that supports your goal. Notice where you are, where your mind puts you. so that you can be aware that you have this goal of being highly motivated. And it may be a goal you've achieved already and now you're just maintaining it. Or it may be still out in the future, but now you know that you're on your way. Whatever your mind does is perfect. So be there and notice being there, what you notice, what you see, what you feel. Perhaps there are some other people that are a part of being around you at this time that you're having this motivation for this goal. Whatever your mind knows is appropriate in your surroundings. And be there and feel the air, breathe the air in. Breathe the air of motivation and passion and excitement. Because you've already gotten to that point. At this point, you're already there. You're already in that place of being highly motivated. And notice where you feel that in the body. Notice where it settles inside of you. Notice if it changes anything about the way you see yourself, the way you perceive yourself, the way you feel about yourself. And give yourself permission to dial up the intensity of this feeling, of this sense that I have all the motivation I ever asked for way back then, and then some. I don't even have to think about it anymore. I wake up with this motivation now. I am compelled. It's part of my life. It's part of my reality. And all of the benefits and rewards that are coming from arriving at this place, some of which may be beyond what you even expected back when you first decided on this goal. So let yourself just be here and breathe in all of that awareness. And all of that appreciation for the you that got yourself here, that made those decisions to act, to be a moving cause for your own life, for your own decisions, your own choices that you made in the past, that you are at cause. And notice that internal state that is something that serves you in so many ways, even beyond this current goal, enhancing some other areas of your life perhaps that you hadn't anticipated. And come up with a word, one word that can represent this state of high-level internal motivation. One word, the first word that comes to you. And if you have a word, those of you that I can see, nod your head, please. Very good. Yes? Okay, very good. Okay, and now travel back through space and time, back to now, because now is the time that you can start moving breath by breath, moment by moment, and open your eyes and come back here. And now I'm going to ask you, all of you who are listening and who I can see, think of something in your life that you accomplished that nobody had to motivate you, something you decided to do at some point in your life that was so important to you, that you were so passionate about, that you did wake up every morning, just couldn't wait to do the actions necessary to make it happen. So think of something that right now that you're motivated about, or something in the past. Could be something now that you nobody has to motivate you. If somebody brings it up, I'm there. I'm ready to go. Y'all got something like that? Either from the past or something right now that if it came up, if the opportunity came up to do something that you wouldn't even have to think about it, you would be jumping in. Your motivation
Yes.
would be just jump in there. Yeah. Jose, do you have something like that either now or from your past? that you were so motivated that nobody had to push you, including yourself. You just decided on something and you just gung-ho went for it. Yeah. Yes. Doesn't have to be a great big goal. It can be anything. It could be like if you love to play basketball and your friend stops in unexpectedly and says, hey, you want to go shoot some hoops? That's something. Yeah, let's do it. You don't even have to think about it. Yeah, I love that. There's no striving to get motivated. It's there. You know, you want to go swimming. It could be anything. You can play tennis. It could be a sport. It could be anything. Got something like that? Yeah. Both of you? Yes. Ray, you got something? Okay. Okay. Close your eyes and think about that thing that nobody has to motivate you, including yourself. That thing that you're just going to jump up and be ready to go as soon as the opportunity strikes. And think about what that feels like in that moment when you have the opportunity to do this thing that nobody has to motivate you for. You're just raring to go instantly. And get that feeling, let it permeate you, let it push everything else out, and let it just take over all of you. Just that feeling of, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Can't wait. I'm excited. And now let that be in every muscle, every bone, all of your internal organs. Notice where it emanates from. Notice where it seems to be centered, because this hopefully should be a very high energy vibration in your body. One of those that you almost want to jump out of your chair and take off. You're so motivated. And notice where it emanates from. Where is it centered inside of you? Just notice it. And notice if the word to represent this feeling might be the same as the one you had when you went out into the future, or if it's different and more powerful, just notice that. And settle on one word that represents this kind of motivation that doesn't take any work at all. It's like someone lights a fire under you and you're ready to go. Got a word for that? Everybody? Yes? Okay. Now come back out here. Okay, how much time we got? I'm just making this up as I go along, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, so you have a word that represents that fire, that passionate motivation, yes? With your eyes open, yeah. You have a word? Yes. Okay, now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you close your eyes and get back into that just a little bit, into that high motivation state. And that incorporates that future projection we did earlier as well. You don't have to think about that. Just know that feeling. Just get back those feelings of high motivation and that feeling of accomplishing what you're here for, the one that you're talking about today, the feeling of accomplishment. And I want you to take your right fist and just make a tight fist. And just imagine putting all of that motivation, that fire, that passion, all of that call to action, that word that represents that. Imagine all of that power going into that right fist and just feel it. You might even feel some vibration or some kind of an energy in your right fist as you do that. And feel the power there. Feel all that power in your right fist. And let that hang out in your right fist and come out here and look at me for a moment. And keep that fist, keep that contained in that fist. And look at me for a second. Now I want you to take your left hand and I want you to put your current goal, your intention, your thing that you want to be more motivated about. Imagine putting it in your left hand. Just imagine it there. And there was a word that represented that lack of motivation, you remember? Yes. Put that word and just keep it open like this. Let that word and all of that lack of motivation, let it fill that hand. And I don't know, for me, while I'm doing this, it kind of feels heavy. That lack of motivation just kind of feels heavy to me. it kind of slows you down, doesn't it? Kind of makes you procrastinate, kind of makes you feel sluggish almost. Whatever is happening with you, though, just put that in that left hand. Now you've got this right fist with all that power, all that fire, all that passion. I want you to take that fist now, and just as slowly or as quickly as you can, I want you to start to bring it right into that left hand. Bring it right in. Just let it, and let yourself feel it coming. Feel it coming. And as it touches that left palm, just wrap your left palm around that fist and just hold it there. Just hold it there. And let all of that fire, all of that motivation, all of that, what that word represents in that fist, let it permeate that hand, that left hand. Let it just permeate it so that both hands now are filled with that energy, that fire. And in a moment when you pull them apart, I want you to just imagine all of that power of that word, that motivation word, that fire, that all of that, what we were talking about, of that passion, that it goes ahead and transfers right into that left hand, and just let it do that. And bring your hands back and down. And come back out here with me for a moment and open your eyes. And before I go to this next thing, I want to just ask you, what did you notice without judgment? What did you notice? If you didn't notice anything, then you didn't notice anything. And that's whatever you noticed is perfect. Whatever you didn't notice is perfect. So I just want to hear, what was your experience? What did you notice? Anybody? Yeah, Ray.
I felt that. No, I'm not. I felt a transfer of warmth.
Transfer of warmth. Okay. So you had warmth
Yes.
going into the hands. Okay. Anybody else? Nothing
Similar.
specific? Yeah.
Similar. Similar. Warmth. That's his approach.
Nice. Nice. Okay. And if you didn't notice anything, then you didn't notice anything, and that's fine. As long as you did it and you were thinking along with it, I want you to trust that your brain was listening and your brain was recording this difference of high motivation overriding that lack of motivation and infusing it with some of that power. Yeah.
Now,
right.
the warmth that I felt was different from body warmth. It was like an emotional warmth.
Ah, interesting. And you're the only one that knows exactly what that means to you.
Mhm.
We can all imagine what that might mean, but for you to say it that way, it must have been a real different kind of experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
So how about you, Anne? You did it. You had you went through that, I assume, when I couldn't see you, you were still doing all of that, right?
Yes.
With us? Okay. So was there anything you noticed at all?
I hate to say this, but I wanted to take a nap.
You I know
I had my head on my desk. I was
you
like
tend to
going
really
fall
go
asleep.
into a very relaxed state during these. Yeah. And that's good, actually, because that means your logical mind's probably not interfering too much. So I'm just going to ask you to trust yourself and to know that, your brain, the neural pathways, all of these things, when we do it may seem silly on a logical level, but there are things that we're doing that are making connections in the synapses in the brain, right? We're connecting things. When this happened, when you got the feeling that went with one thing, you had the feeling that, because it's all about feelings. And when, a stronger power overrides that weaker one, something's happening in the brain with that. And you have a word now that represents passionate motivation. Yes, you all have a word for that now. I want you to just think about that being kind of a mantra for the next few days or weeks or whatever it takes. Let it be kind of a motivating mantra, because one word takes just a second to remind yourself of that. And that word now is linked somewhat to high levels of motivation. a high level of motivation, right? So we didn't have time to get into a couple of things here that would have maybe made it a little bit more powerful, but this was just a simple little thing that I just made up about how to get your brain to know now to link these two. So here's the test now that we've talked for a little bit. As you now just sitting here, think about the thing that you at the beginning said you wanted to have more motivation about. Just close your eyes and think about it now. Let yourself think about that thing that you said you wanted more motivation for. And notice if it's any different. If you sense it in your body, any different place. If it feels any different. If it's coming to you a little bit differently, perhaps. And just notice what you notice without judgment as much as possible. And think about, do you feel more motivated toward that thing now? Do you get a sense of more motivation? And come out here and tell me what you get, what you got. Any shift? Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was like a sense of urgency, but not in a negative way. It was like to start accomplishing, time for accomplishment, but not in a hard push.
Nice, nice. Yeah, because it's about incremental movement, right? But it has to start on the inside. It has to start on the inside. Like it said in that one thing I read, it said it's an internal state. Motivation is an internal state of wanting to act, wanting to take action towards something that's important to you. How about you, Jose? Anything come to you there, or
Yeah,
any shift, any little
a
shift in how it feels now when you think about it?
a feeling that is not that impossible. That that like a certain looseness of possibilities, because the rational mind is what is trying to tell me that it cannot be done, and past observations, but I have to keep reminding myself that isn't the case.
Yeah. And these kinds of things, we talk about mantras. I talked about that word can be a reminder to yourself. Repetition, this kind of work, it's the same principles for whatever we're doing. You'll notice there's similarities. It's about, first of all, you got to know what you want. Second of all, the motivation for it has to be there, or you're not going to take the actions to get what you want. And the actions to get what you want are easier, and you're more motivated to do it as long as you repetitively remind yourself of that feeling. Give yourself permission to imagine that end result or that point in the future where you have whatever it is that you're going for, and anchor it into that word. Put it into that one word that represents that motivation for you, and bring it back through time. You can do these in little 3 to 5 minute little mini self-hypnosis sessions, and bring it back to now. The more real you make it, the more you let yourself really pretend and imagine you're there right now, looking through your own eyes, interacting with people if that's part of it, looking in the mirror if it's a physical thing that you're doing, seeing yourself in the mirror, whatever it is, make it as real as you can. Incorporate as many senses as you can. And, some people that I work with, they say, well, I don't see anything when I imagine. I don't really see things. Okay. You still have images in your head, whether you think you see them or not. And that's usually someone thinking because they hear someone else explain something they saw in great detail, and they go, well, I didn't get any of that. And they think that means I can't see. But if you didn't have images inside of your imagination, then when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you wouldn't recognize yourself. That sounds silly, or if you went out to the parking lot, you wouldn't know which car was yours. So somewhere in your mind, you've got a template for what that car looks like. Somewhere in your mind, you want to have a template for the end result of the goal, you having accomplished the goal. And if that's part of your imagery in your mind, it compels all of your internal resources to work to get it because it feels good, right? So let that word be prominent to help you stay motivated. Do some mental projections into the future, you know, grab it with that word, hook it to that word and bring it back to now. So every time you think of that word, it's going to get more and more and more powerful. Create some affirmations, you know, some self-talk, because when that, what Jose was just talking about, what gets in the way is that the logical part of the mind, it starts saying things like, well, you know, last time, or, you know, I don't know if this is going to ever, yeah, it's taking so long that, you know, your mind gets in there and then all of a sudden you're just starting to go this way. You know, those are those heavy ones, right? Those are those lack of the motivator killers, right? Yeah, Ray.
The one word that you know that we're attached to or attaching to, I feel it's attachment is stronger when you're in an elevated state of emotion or an elevated state of excitement, because then you can
Yeah.
attach that word to that sense
Absolutely.
of that feeling.
Absolutely. Well, and again, because all of the things we do with hypnosis and NLP, all these kinds of techniques, they deal with the emotion, the unconscious. I call it the unconscious. Some people call it subconscious, but that other consciousness outside of our conscious awareness. And that is where our emotions live. That's where they're all stored. They call it the seat of emotions. So whenever we're doing a future projection and doing those little mini imaginary experiences of having already being there, the more, that's why you want to incorporate all your senses, because the more senses you bring into it, the more emotion is conjured up inside of you, right? And I always like to, when I work with clients, I have them imagine an intensity dial. And once they're there, and even if I feel like they're as high as they can be, I say, imagine you can crank up the intensity even more. If it feels great, make it feel unbelievably great. You know, crank it up, because your imagination can do that. And just like you said, Ray, the more emotion, the more passion, the faster and the easier the results are going to come. Because the unconscious wants whatever you're excited about, whatever you're passionate about, especially when it's something that's good for you. It's going to add to the quality of your life. Yeah, Jose.
And the method of substituting one concept for the other, the limiting concept, dissolving it with the strong motivating concept.
Did you say dissolving it with?
Yes.
Yeah. I
yeah.
like that. See, I didn't use that word. I like that your mind interpreted it that way, because that's what happens at the unconscious level. And we have a mental track of negativity. If we start introducing something that feels really good, you know, and interrupt those patterns, that's why we want to have a word. Someone just logged on. Hello. We're just getting to the end of the class. Did you have the time wrong, maybe? Ruslan, is that how you say your name?
So I'm from Indonesia.
You're from Indonesia. Oh, okay.
Because my English is not active, so
oh, it's fine. It's fine. I just wondered where you disappeared.
Okay,
you disappeared for a while. We missed you.
Okay, thank you.
This is recorded, so once I get the recording edited, I can send it to you. But someone else just logged on. Ruslan, is that how you say it? Oh, and there she is. Oh, I can see you now.
Hello.
Is it Enda? Enda? Is that how you say your name? Enda?
Enda Retnowati.
Enda Retnowati.
Yes.
And Ruslan, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if you send me your email address, I'll send you a link for the replay. It'll be a week or so before I can edit it. A week or two. Okay. Because we're on Eastern US time. So actually this is the end of the seminar or the end of the webinar. But we had a good time and we had a lot of fun. So hopefully the replay, you'll be able to go through it and see what we did. So if everybody, hopefully you all have a good time here and enjoyed that. Yes, hopefully.
Learn something new every time.
Learn something new. So thank you all for being here. And if you email me, I'll make sure you get the replay of this, because a couple of you missed almost all of it. But I'm so happy you came. So let me know. And then that way, next month or whenever you want to come back again, because I do these every third Wednesday of each month. So hopefully we'll be able to see you here at the right time the next time. Okay,
Thank you,
everybody.
Patti.
Any other questions? Any comments? Any questions?
Thank you.
Nope. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Okay, let me know how your goals are coming, how motivated you all are. Send
Muchas
me some
gracias.
emails.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Jose. Muchas gracias. De nada, how do you say it? De nada, de nada, de nada,
De nada, de nada.
de nada.
Yes.
I almost had it. I used to have that one, but okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.